expansion, right? Like you find yourself in the midst of growth, elevation, development, curiosity, right? About where you're going, where you are with every new turn in life, with every promotion, with every realization, with every motion forward, hopefully. Um, you find yourself being like a child in a childlike state of being inquisitive and nervous and having the jitters and the butterflies and all the good things that come with growth that can sometimes embed fear or not really embed it. I believe that fear is something that's triggered. It comes from a reflection of reality rooted in many things that we've gone through. And so, unlike a lot of beliefs that say fear is false evidence appearing real, fear is very much real for some people. Not for some people, for all of us, right? It's real because even if not in our mind, um, our brain, being that it's built for survival and it's wiring with our nervous system, our body can sometimes create an onset of fear, even if we are a fearless person energetically. And so we have to combat that, right? But sometimes when we are on the verge of something new and exciting, it shuts us down. And I'm in that position right now, and I'm gonna try not to make this cast about me. Good Wednesday morning. It is April 8th, or good Wednesday afternoon, evening, whenever you'll be watching this. It's April 8th, 2026. My name is Sekhmet L, soul conscious coach, reimagined strategist, and I empower awakened souls to embody their affirmations through radical reimagination. And I, was thinking yesterday, Tuesday, about the quote from philosopher Rumi that says, "What you seek is also seeking you." And I just thought about what is it the need that we actually have in life, right? What is it, the conquest that we're on, the journey we're on, that is causing us to really stay stagnant? Even if we are accomplished individuals, we all have one component of us that, needs some help, that is compromised in our emotions, that's compromised by our psychology. And we sometimes create resistance or hold on to resistance with moving forward because we don't know what that unknown territory is like. And anything that is foreign to us, we will become illegitimate to because we have no relationship with it, right? And I started thinking about the processing that goes on when people say they want more and they want to do more. And I'm one of those motivational people. I'm like, you can do it, you can have it, it can happen. You can, you can empower yourself through it. You can create this vision and get to the vision. But the reality is that there are a lot of different interferences that come with you creating something new. There are a lot of old stories, patterns, history, not just in our lifetime, not just in our body, but that of which streams in our bloodline, that of which comes from our mother's body, that which comes from our father's uh, nuclear system as well, his cerebral system. So we are this inherited embodiment of all these thoughts, and sometimes getting to an expected end, sometimes getting to a reality that seems so clear cut. And I want to thank you for joining. If you're watching live, hey, howdy. If you're watching the replay, how you doing? How you doing? But getting to an expected outcome is not always as cookie cutter as it seems, right? Because sometimes you can have a projected outcome and it looks like I can get right there. But just imagine you're trying to get to the other side of a road and you keep running into what you don't see is a glass partition and you don't see it. You know what I mean? But you keep running into it and not realizing that there are ways to go around, there are ways to go over and under. And these are the metrics of obstacles in life, right? And I realize that, especially as someone who delves into spirituality, that sometimes the interference is spiritual warfare. And sometimes that can look like self doubt in the spirit realm, can really be like spiritual attachments that loom onto you. Sometimes in the natural reality, right, in our 3D reality, we can be experiencing what people would call hatred or having haters. And the real reality in the spirit realm, on the opposite end, is that we could be enduring witchcraft that we don't even know we are the center of, right? Sometimes you have to go through the spiritual hurdles. And if you're not in tune with yourself, if you're not tapped into the realities of the entire universe and the spectrums that present itself, you're going to think that you're just a failure in life when the reality is you have not experienced the culture of the spirit realm. And so, when you are going through these journeys and you are, I like someone just said, look to the east, right? And the east in the esoteric community stands for knowledge, it stands for intuition, it stands for 360 degrees, a full circular understanding that there are realms, there are cycles and ciphers that we go through for the maturation or the maturing of the soul. Thank you for saying that. And when you have to go in that direction, when you have to follow the unknown, there's one thing that's going to really shift you outside of being stuck and being stagnant, and that is creating a strategy, right? Being consistent with a strategy, creating an outcome that no matter what, when you feed it, not just energy, but when you feed it with effort, when you feed it with authenticity and transparency, then you will begin to magnetize it towards you. And when it comes to creating a strategy, you have to realize that you have to stand 10 toes down on it. You have to be adamant about your growth, understanding that there will be mitigating forces that will attack your intelligence. It will counter your intelligence because now you're shifting the dynamics of how you receive the frequency of the universe, right? And so it's like playing chess, which I am not good at. But you have to reconfigure yourself in a way that allows you to be the central intelligence of your world. And you have to, this is why you have to be I don't want to say self-absorbed, but you have to be self-centered, because when you begin to master yourself, when you begin to realize that there are certain elements of you that actually do change and create ripple effects in life, when you start to change the narrative and the direction of the frequency that you're emitting, and you put yourself in a position to control what comes to you, you have to understand. Like, y'all know I talk about the avatars, not avatars, the Avengers all the time, but you have to realize that there are going to be intelligences that come against you. That's why a lot of us that start things, we don't finish it, because we are now taking on an identity that is the polar opposite of defeat. And when you stand in your strength, utilizing strategy, you then become the master player in your own life. And so there are three keys that I want to assist you with, if that's okay, when you're creating a strategy. Hi, how you doing? Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. um three steps that I want you to realize when you're creating a strategy system, right? Because it took a system to get you to where you are. If you're in a position of breakdown, if you're in a position where you do not feel empowered or feel that you have the resources or the tools to change your life, you have to realize it was a system, a structured flow that got you to where you are. It was a structured mindset, it was a structured pattern and behaviors, right? Because the only way a pattern has power is when it is consistently, habitually reenacted, reactivated, right? This is like what generational curses are. So if you have a generational curse of let's just say alcoholism or any type of substance, and it becomes substance abuse and it's bloodline through bloodline, it's because there was a pattern created where the emotionalism was fed into something that went from outside of the body to a more dimensional, self-soothing mechanism. You see what I'm saying? And so when you are putting yourself in the mechanism or an outside tool, that's when you lose yourself in your system and create and swell the system that you are feeding. And that's how a lot of people have dependencies that they create. So creating a strategy system is how you get from where you are to where you need to be. But the first thing you have to realize is you have to want to change your life, and you have to be real about what it is that you actually want. What is it that you need for your life? What is it that you want? It's not based on predictability, but what is it that you feel? And I do mean feel. I don't mean that in a, loopy type of delusional, delulu way, because your nervous system is intact with the let's just call it the spiritual parallel, right? And because I do believe that we are messengers and we are divinely embodied, you already come here with an impact in you. And it doesn't have to be on a grand level, it doesn't have to be this big social level. It can just be something that you want to change your life. You don't always have to go out there trying to change the world. This is what I'm realizing daily. You don't have to change the world, you don't have to change your family structure. You just have to be present enough in your own life, in your own body to say, this is what I want for me. And you making the decision to change your life for you is what changes the world, right? If you're not happy with who you are, if you're not happy with how your life is, of course, the world, first of all, just based off of your outlook and perspective, is going to be, excuse my fire. And when you are able to balance both of them and then make your life affordable to experience both of them and have access to both of them simultaneously, then we're cooking with something, as my nana used to say, right? So, what you have to ask yourself, and this is something that requires introspection, this is something that requires dedication to your own thoughts, right? You need to dedicate quiet time to this question: what is it that I want? Not just what do I need. We know what you need. We all have needs, right? We all have bills. We all have emotional and physical pleasures that we want to experience. We all have stressors. Even if we eliminate them through people, we all have a need. And that comes from just living. But what is it that you want? Because what you want may not always come from what you are living currently, but what you desire to live and how you want to experience. So when you get to answering that question, and it doesn't have to be this 30-day fast, it might require that for you. It doesn't have to require you going and turning to religion, but it may require that for you to have an ultimate enlightened understanding of yourself. But honestly, just sitting with yourself 15 minutes, 10 minutes, no noise, no anything, just you and your soul reverberating its experience to you, you will understand what is it that I want, whether it's a lifetime, my lifespan, or what is it that I want right now. You know what I mean? Like right now, I want some sushi, or like right now, I want to go take a trip somewhere. Well, how do I get there if I don't have the means to do it, right? But even if it is as grand as, breaking a cycle, breaking a mind shackle, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? What is it that I want? You have to ask yourself this, and you have to do so without being ashamed. You know how I feel when growth and personal development are involved. It's gender neutral, so it's not a sensitivity of being a woman, and it's not the rigid, dexterity of being a man. It's what do I want as, my soul conquest. And it's okay to ask yourself these things. It's okay to be vulnerable and tap into yourself and realize you don't have control over everything. And because of that, you stand in the position to be um used for what we would call a miracle. And a miracle is an unexpected interference in your everyday life, right? And so when you get clear on what you want, you begin to position yourself for what you need. And when you are creating a system that can answer, this is what I want, this is how I get there. There's 3 steps I'm going to offer you to you today. This was really on my mind, and so I wanted to just, share this with you. You can find out more information about me at the link in my bio, Linktree/soul and she. I'm here. I'm on Instagram, not really active, but here are the 3 steps. Okay, the first one is this: you have to realize that this is the reality of where I am. So when you are creating the system, your strategy for exiting where you are and you're into elevation and you're wanting to accomplish something new, you have to be real about where you are. Only you know where you are. And that can be the geography of where you live physically, where you live mentally, where you live and reside in your body, where you are financially. This is when you're asking, where am I? You're saying who, this is what, I'm sorry, is defining the present moment, right? So when you answer the reality of where you are in comparison to your needs and what you need, the next thing you want to do is state the reality of what you want again, right? And after that, after you state what you want, then this is the most important thing. You have to state the reality of what you have to get you to where you want to be from where you are, right? So you're creating an exit strategy. The reality of what you have to get you from where you are to where you want to be does not involve any type of outside resource or tool. As I stated, I think I stated this in the beginning, or maybe I didn't. My professor, no, I didn't. My professor in my African studies, when I was in my 20s, like I had so many questions about life. Man, I'm telling you, my professor, my African studies professor, was probably my favorite educator in my whole existence. And I would just bother him all the time. I know I did. Every time after class, I'd be like, Professor, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Da, 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 da. And he would be like, child, wherever, what do you say? Wherever your chaos, therein lies the solution. And he was letting me know that instead of you looking to remedy everything about your life with the external factors, if the root cause of your chaos came from the inside of you, then the root cause for the remedy is also in you. The solution is also in you. And so to wrap up this cast today, I just want to let you know that whatever it is you're looking for, this is how we began, right? Rumi said, whatever it is you're seeking is also seeking you. So, whatever it is that you want to elevate your life, the magnetism is already in you. The desire is already in you. You just have to clean up. You have to filter. You have to detox and purge the unhealthy factors that are in you. And now that journey may be painful. It is painful. That journey is very sobering. But when you start to strip away the murkiness, the convoluted cloudiness on the inside that allows you to be distracted and detracted from many things, then you can accomplish what you want. I know it sounds good, right? To say, okay, if I just have this, if I have this amount of dollars, then this will work. But if you don't have the discipline to maintain that dollar amount and you don't have a structure for what you're going to do with it and how you're going to invest it, you're just going to lose it. You could take that from me and take that to the bank, honey. Okay. If whatever it is you're searching for, your discipline, whatever it is that you feel that you need, you have to build that resource in you. And if you're just tuning in, greetings, love, peace, all the things. I just was sharing that when we are elevating and we find ourselves in a position to want more. Sometimes, even though we have acquired a massive amount of success, personal success, not success that we can, put on social metrics. I'm saying, nobody graduated high school or college, you did that. No one, has successfully had no children, but you did that. No one has successfully had a marriage in your family, but you did that. You know what I mean? No one has accomplished going to therapy and everybody, has their own mental disarray in your family. You did that. I'm talking about personal successes. When it comes to hitting a peak position in your life and you are looking for more and you are looking to expand and you are looking to grow and you are looking to evolve, no matter your status, no matter the stratosphere, I'm sorry, that you are in your social life, in your personal life, in your familial life, there comes a point where you are going to want to expand. And this is the same recipe over and over again. Just continue to tune in, tap in, and ask yourself, what is it that I want? When you're asking yourself what you want, you are also putting a demand on the universe. The universe is a mechanical mathematics system, right? You can look at it as a god, you can look at it as a wizard, but it is a mathematical course correcting system. And so it inherits everything about our frequency. It knows when we move, it knows when we speak, it knows our emotions based off of what we emit. And so, whenever you're asking yourself, what is it that I want? It's posing a question to the universe that says, I'm ready for elevation. Provide me with the steps. And this is when you take that personal journey. This is when you decide that I want more. And so, I just want to encourage you to create a system. A system to elevate, a system to evolve. If you need assistance with that, you can hit the link in my bio, Linktree/soulandshe, and we can, go over that in an elevation session. You can do a one session or a three session, or if you have a question and you want spiritually intuitive guidance, we can do that. But really, this is what, again, and I'm gonna close with this. We want to see the reality of where we are. Okay. Knowing the reality of where we are makes the difference in how we grow and evolve. Because when you're true to what is going on in your life, then that's when change can come. When you realize where you are, you want to get to asking what it is I want. So you want to list the wants. I want this. Yeah, I do want this lifestyle. Yeah, I do want this type of relationship. Yeah, I do want to have a higher academic experience. Whatever it is, I want money for shopping. Okay. And if you know me personally, I want money to eat. Okay. So where I am in life right now, I have to put myself in a position to make more money to be able to have a resourceful lifestyle. But the most uh, effective implementation is knowing the reality of what you have. You don't need anything in today's society but your phone, right? In order, if you're a business person or whatever have you, but you don't even need that. You don't need to have the right person to introduce you to the other right person. You don't need to have anything but a sound mind. A clear conscience will get you very far because in your conscious, you build your self esteem, you build your confidence, you build the goals and the reality to position you in a higher place. And then we're going to have that conversation on another day. But I will end with this. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said, without confidence, you are twice removed from the success of life. Without confidence, you are twice removed. So, building a system of self worth and self honor is what's going to take you far. I appreciate you for being here. If you stayed to the long end, I thank you for tuning in with me. I hope that you have a fabulous Wednesday. We are going to continue to make April as awesome as we need it to be for our abundance. And until the next time, y'all be well, okay?